You know, it's a boy DJ Turko, one link on YouTube. Please remember subscribe, like and share and comment. Right now the people them are talking about the ferry. The breakdown about the ferry. Now we have Claude Hogan on the house.
Right now, they're asking the British to help them with the situation and put themselves in the before that they pay. The next economy have not yet decided about even giving them 20 million, but they're cash strapped. And they're saying, okay, we're willing to cash in something to help us cover our bills right now. They're not even sure that the British are going to send them the $6 million. They might just say absorb it into the deficit. But they're willing to take it away. Take away the $6 million worth of the economy from the poor people of Montserrat without consideration for what they might even get. In fact, they've gambled into the airline's hand and he's going to get all the money when they're finished. And they have gambled away, but the people have the bird in the hand and decided they must take it. And not only take it, they're not even telling you why they're taking it, how they're taking it, what's going to happen to it. And all of these other things they're talking about subsidies. The airlines are subsidized already. So we can't do act charge for the airfare as if on the ferry or nothing. So we are in a very strange situation where if you all don't fight, and I've told people it's today for me and tomorrow for you. Next thing you know, you'll wake up morning and say they want another $10,000 to share around. When is this going to stop? When is there going to be proper consultation? When are we going to know what is going on before it happens? And when are we going to do the decent thing for the people of Montserrat? You can't just park the people and take off their ferry.
Question to both of you, currently members of the opposition. You are empowered constitutionally to sue the government and hold them accountable, specifically for public spending. I think that's
Remember, this is one place called Montserrat. Strat people on YouTube. Subscribe, like, share and comment and tell if you feel that this is a good idea to the place around, especially one place called Montserrat. Please remember it's a DJ Turko, one link.
Hold them accountable on behalf of the public of Montserrat?
Well, actually, as chairman.
Now we have Paul Lewis on the floor.
And also, right next to me is Honorable Claude Hogan, who is self-proclaimed Honorable Dorset. She is also a member of the Public Accounts Committee. And it doesn't matter where you sit, whether you sit in opposition or government. When you sit on the Public Accounts Committee, you're there to carry out your function and you cannot take sides. And therefore, we will indeed execute whatever role that we have to play on the Public Accounts Committee to deal with all accounts. And this one seems to be one of the greatest priority to the people of Montserrat. You asked a question earlier and I want to speak to it. You speak about subsidy to the airline. I want to remind everybody that when a particular CEO of an airline went on the radio and said that the premier is sitting in his board meetings and that is a clear conflict of interest, and the premier of the day did not address it. Neither did the deputy premier said to the people why he's sitting there. And then again the other day he's then again defending and speaking to subsidies for the airline. So clearly there's a conflict of interest. I smell a rat, it smells fishy, and the people of Montserrat want to delve into that in more detail. Matter of fact, I think I'm going to bring some of these to the attention of the British government, because the fact that the premier and the deputy said they don't want to hear the people, they don't want to hear the people say, they want to still do that to bring more pressure on the people and put their community in the neck of the people. That's very disrespectful. Back in the day when the ferry was off, once there was a subsidy. $96,000, $100+ right? Different from what is causing the cost of the present run of the ferry. From May to September, the government agreed and renegotiated the price to $150,000 a month. But the government keep lying to the public. The government keep giving half the information and will not speak the truth. And the government need to come and let the people know. Well, the letter is all over Facebook, so people could read for themselves and they could see that the government negotiated to $150,000 per month, and that's what the ferry is working from May to September. And that is exactly the exact cost for funding the airlines when we didn't have the ferry. So what's the difference? What's the difference? Other than just say that conflict of interest again is what they have paid to the people. And the people want to know why is it that they want to give premium meetings and then the honorable people did not address it that they want to take the subsidy from the ferry and give it to the airline. That must be something that the British government want to look into.
And so far, you know, all of us, the government, now the one in opposition, they had agreed and campaigned when the ferry was anchored and left Montserrat because they don't understand the ferry was not fired. The ferry was made an offer for 6 months interim period, which they refused to take at a low price because of the situation at the time. Which they are trying to do now. In this case, they have actually literally fired the ferry. How is that possible? And yesterday you were saying we're going to put full-time Montserrat ferry to operate. And the next day you're going to say, oh, because of a situation and we don't want to put the protocols in place until we're going to not only fire the ferry, but keep the idea that we're going to have a full-time ferry. This is going to go beyond Montserrat.
And I want to also on the failure of the government failed to negotiate the adjustment of protocols so that people can travel on the ferry to Antigua and from Antigua. The government of Antigua made it clear they're willing to facilitate travel of passengers by ferry to and from Antigua. But our government is so inept that they continue to show that they fail in every negotiation this far. And matter of fact, they will cause the negotiation because they themselves admit that they have made this decision on their own without consulting with the field. And it's now after that the opposition came out against it, they said, oh, they now have to rethink and they're going to go and try and beg the field now for permission. But they already told the world that they did what they did and they don't care what nobody said. And they'll do it again.
As opposition leader, I go by deduction that you are indeed the chairman for the PAC. From either of you then, in the capacity of PAC or just the capacity of members of the opposition. If you were approached by the public and presented with a petition to table a particular bill, specifically decriminalizing marijuana, on behalf of the people?
That's a different question we're here.
I know it is, but I would like to know your response to that. What is your response? No problem. What is your response to that, Mr. Lewis?
I know I don't think
what I say, everybody have a right. Everybody have a right to believe in what they believe in. And at this time, we are speaking to the ferry and a number of other issues a person have outlined against us. I believe that there's a government in power and you have your right to put that question to the government in power. The government must lead and carry out the role of the government. I think the government want to sit back. They want to collect their paychecks every month, but sit back and ask the opposition to come and lead. It doesn't work like that. The government must lead, and if they can't lead, then they leave.
Let's look at the history. Let us look at the history. The PDM took over from the Impact administration in 2014, and what we had to do was clear up similar messes to this one. And what we did was a lot of work to get the confidence of DFID back. Now we sign an MOU with DFID to deal with access and to make sure that public confidence has been for. And you just decide you're going to take this money up or try to, because I'm clear that they cannot take this money up, not with this opposition, the Montserrat, to spend it on what they feel like, to give it to who they feel like. And this is the type of attitude that this government have. Don't care about the people, take the money, fill up pond, do what they like, don't forget, don't let the history be forgotten. This government have a style of spending money as they like, without no policy, without no clear directive, and not following any rules. A MOU is a MOU, and we must understand what ring fence meant. Now, Claude made a point, Honorable Hogan made a point. Now, what next are they going to take up? There's monies in TC, there's monies in the volcano observatory. Are they going to take that money just because they want to save or try to recover the 22 million that they short of, or get self-working to negotiate with the aid donors to get the additional funding based on COVID-19. This government must not be allowed to fool us as the people. We as the people must not stop by idly and allow this to happen, and this is clear.
How do you suggest we hold the government accountable for it?
We're right here, we're here. We're here.
And what if they don't do anything?
Let's do something.
Pressure bust pipe.
The president, please give MCAP $20 million and not rob the people of Montserrat. Beg them, please. The British to give please. That's what they want. And they will take it out of these people in Montserrat by hook or by crook. The easiest protocols for people to travel are by ferry, but they're not going to fix those protocols. They're going to tell you the ferry is parked down there and losing $500 million a day because it is in their interest to get some money to spend right now for whatever reason. And let me tell you all, this is not going to hurt tomorrow morning. It's going to hurt very shortly as soon as the curtain lifts. And down the road, everybody's going to lose in cost of living because it's going to go up. Everybody's going to lose when they trap all the possible things that will come into Montserrat by their own cargo boat and tax everything and keep you all under pressure. And you have been asked to pay for your own transport. Not give you subsidy on a $700 airline ticket. The children are not going to be able to do sports and group travel. All of this thing is to load the country onto you because we're supposed to go financially independent by 2035. And what you all are going to be doing is stone you all are going to be pounding to make up the 100 million now and add 20 to the 80. You think they didn't do that on purpose? How could you have a budget that is not balanced? So you don't know what you're spending on. So you're just going to squeeze and squeeze and squeeze. And you already not even know when the $20 million is collected.
No clue.
So
I want to zoom in on that. I want to zoom in on that because everybody is waiting to see what the British government is going to do because obviously this government negotiated $150,000 per month with the current ferry from May to September. The government also in that letter gave commitment.
Please remember to boy DJ Turk, one link on YouTube, subscribe, like and share and comment. Tell us what you think about this country, Montserrat, because it's Strat, that the ferry cancel and everybody have to take the plane. So the opposition is defending the people from the country. When the ferry come, he's a visitor or it don't really matter. The ball house is on the ground.
And they got a contract. They want a contract. So then if they want a contract and then you cancel, they too might just go. Who's gonna pay? Who's gonna pay for the $20 cap in a active reference and who's gonna pay the bills?
What do you suggest? Isn't this supposed to be discussion?
Not just over the 22 million, but overall persisting us under this COVID-19 pandemic. If you listen to the governor just 2 days ago, you know what the governor said? Were you listening? The governor said Britain has the third largest budget for outside aid. Have you any idea what that budget is? Last year the budget was about $16 billion. That's $16,000 million. That's what it was last year. And even if the GDP is reduced because of COVID-19 by 25%, it's somewhere near 12 billion or so. dollars, pounds, 12 billion pounds still. So if Britain were to give us 20 million pounds a year, 20 million pounds, not EC dollars, try and understand what a fraction that is of 16 billion or 13 billion. This is all about negotiating properly. And what we want to do, Montserrat, the ferry is probably the only thing that we know that's being cut. What else is there to be cut? How is that going to affect us? All that Montserrat depends on is government spending over the past 25 years. Until we get the port, and until we get the hospital, until we get those other projects going, it's government spending. Investors are outside. Where are they now? It's not going to be easy to get investors now.
The 200 million down there.
So the point, no, it was already predicted that those projects will not start right away. If you go and check the business case for the hospital budget, it will tell you that they anticipated low revenues for this year, and it will only start picking up next year. So imagine COVID-19 makes it worse. This is just an example of what is coming if our government not only resolves the 22 million, but also finds a way to get us relief and get us a stimulus package.
They need to talk.
And the reason why the opposition is here is because we don't even know what they're doing. There's no discussion with us whatsoever. Had they discussed this with us, there would have been a different situation.
Yes.
Who knows what we might have come up with. So the opposition is still willing to speak with them.
But we are doing the government a favor today. The favor we're doing them is to be here to tell the British to treat them nice and love them. Because they're not even talking to us, and we are telling them that we could talk to the British for them, since they're trying to go like beggar man with hand and cap, take off our head, cut our artery to our economy by taking the ferry without even telling us. I think that is going to, it might impress the British. Maybe 20 years ago. I don't think they want to see them maiming the poor people of Montserrat. They don't want to look after the people. Why is that? Why they think it's better to damage us, cut our artery, rather than to make representation properly and say these people are poor. I'm sure they might get 40 million.
And the precedent was set in 2016 that if you cut off the ferry for a long period of time, that you reduced the cost of airfares to Antigua. So why has it taken them so long to realize that poor people are paying 700 plus to travel to and from Antigua if they stay more than a day in Antigua?
But Mr. Roman, if we could travel on the plane, why we can't travel on the ferry? Whose fault it is? Whose fault? Because Antigua said protocols are in place for us to come.
That is another point.
So why
it's all about negotiation. All about negotiation. And remember, I'm repeating it. The governor came boldly on the radio and said that they have the third largest budget in the world for outside aid, Britain. And the very premier has now admitted that we should have first call. First call is be a priority. Honorable Taylor said in his budget speech that we should be a priority on that $16 or $13 billion budget. So if you're a priority, what else is going to be cut if you can't negotiate on a priority basis?
That's a very good question. What else will be cut? If you all were listening carefully to the premier and deputy premier, they said it's versus in the ferry versus the service. Go back and listen. They did say is the what else going to be cut? They said is the ferry civil service. They already civil service. Carefully.
This financial year to spend on what? This is Ferry economics. This is about a budget already approved in England, signed off. Do you think there's a button up there to press and the 6 million going to be released to them here? And they have not balanced the budget and come up with 20 million more they need, and they haven't said what the 20 million is for. Let me tell you what they have to do first before they even start to think about the 6 million from the ferry. They have to balance the budget. Tell the British what you're going to pay for with the 80 million they give you, plus the money you raise in Montserrat. What you're going to do with that first, that's all called balance. Simple maths, right? Negative must balance out the positive.
You just can't
After
figure
that
out
is when you
the
apply
sky.
for more money, and they didn't even come and say they want more money for COVID.
Yes.
They just say they want more money because they're restructuring all of this access service, and they pull the rug immediately, even without consultation. This is very hard on the people of Montserrat.
And even tell the people where they shop.
When a government spent 5 years saying we don't need DFID, when they spent 5 years saying that all the PDM government talk about is DFID, now COVID-19 hits and they don't know how to deal with it. Instead of spending those 5 years learning how to deal with DFID, learning about what they had to do to
correct
negotiate with the British
mistakes,
government,
correct
they
the
learned
mistakes.
nothing. So
Correct
they
the
come totally off guard. And that is why I'm hoping still that they're going to be wise enough to make a sudden change. It's not just about the ferry. In the way they're negotiating and involving people, they don't start involving their own people. When I say their own people, they don't all agree on this decision. Showing you that if there's dissension within the small group and you're not consulting your caucus and others and you don't have agreement, then who do they have agreement with? Who are they representing? If you did a poll, are they representing people in Montserrat? Okay, you want to be tough, but you're going to be tough. Why aren't you tough in negotiating properly for the people of Montserrat? As I said before, you can't cut government spending if that's the only spending that's going on. You can't. Because even if you had $6 million extra, you should use it to do something else. Because you have no stimulus, you have no relief beyond June. In England, they're spending $200 billion extra dollars. Make sure the economy keeps moving, to keep people working. $70 billion to keep employed people who are employed, workers on furlough, and employ young people. We need money put into the youth program. That's where money needs to go to get the youth come out of school. And that is already established by the PDM government. They don't need to do much, just get the money and shift it. So it's not about cutting right now. It's where to spend money and getting more money to spend.
More money we need.
No, and the British government, I guarantee you, is willing once you present your case properly. If you go and listen to the governor carefully, listen to the governor carefully 2 days ago, and you know he's sending a message. We have money. Negotiate properly.
If you can't run a rent. If you can't run a rent ferry,
Yes, good
you buy a
morning.
ferry.
I'm here with everyone here this morning based on the situation that we're facing here. I want to say this is not an MCAP or PDM or whatever party problem. This is about we the people of Montserrat. This is about all of us. No matter what party you vote for, what party you believe in. This is part of the economy of Montserrat. Without a ferry, it makes a large the economy of Montserrat. When you have small businesses who are trying to make a living, and they can't get a little 1 or 2 things from Antigua, like it's a problem. We have a lot of jobs. There's nothing going on. We don't care. And you know, when they make statements like that, they don't whatever they have to do, they don't care, they will do it. And don't consult people. Claude is a
Yeah, Claude, that's a
facts.
no, that's a go far
I'm a seaman.
No, that's a go far.
You know,
Don't have it on.
solve problems. But if you don't listen to anybody, you can't get nothing done. You can't get nothing done. You have to hear the people's cry and try to see how you can work on the cries and hold out for the better of the people. Not just sit back and say, oh, because I think it's this, I'm going to do it. No, but your dictatorship we want to have here in Montserrat? That can't be.
You know why
It
we're
can't
here?
be.
You know why
And
we're
that's why I
here?
want the people to stand up for their rights. They have to stand up. Let them hear, let them understand what it's all about. We can't just sit down and accept everything that's thrown in our face.
And we got our head on everybody.
We have the British government as if they're the worst in the world. But I don't think so. I think if we do proper negotiations with them and show them reasons why we must have what we need, we would get them.
they don't, you know, and these are kind of things that kind of upset all of us here in Montserrat. So we just want the government to understand, before any silly decisions are made, consult the people, consult who you have to consult, whether the technicians, everything, but listen to people. Not because somebody's smaller than you or under your pay grade, that doesn't mean you can't listen to them. They might have better ideas than what you have. So we need
Please remember, it's about DJ Turk, one link.
listen to everybody.
And YouTube member, subscribe, like, and share, and comment. You know the ball game, bro. So this is the government office, headquarters. People are coming 1 and 2. My time early. So place peaceful, police station and thing.